All right, Shalom. This is Harawan by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Harakah Kodash, Ba'amath. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. And Shalom to you, Akim, Nakwate, my children, that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Yeah, you got everybody celebrating their folly days, what they call holidays, which is another word for holy days. All right, days that they set apart to pay homage to their idols, to their pagan gods, man. Going all the way back to the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire got most of their idols from Babylon. All right, so let's get into it, man. So the one that they're honoring on this night, what they call January 1st, is what? A pagan idol called Janus. So let's get into it, man. And you see it here, man. That's how it look. All right. And you already see the statue. It's a two-headed deity, one facing one way and another face facing the other. And it's supposed to represent a gateway from old, out with the old, in with the new. And a renewing of the mind. All right. So let's get into it, man. And they're all into that, the chakras and the pagan mindset, that witchcraft. I'd be wicked all year, and then I'm gonna do something new this year. It says another one of Satan's tactics. All right, and this is definitely one of Esau's tactics. Is the celebration of New Year's. You are actually celebrating the Roman god or idol Janus, which you get the term January from. Right? The god who has two faces. And and the one that set up the calendar to pay homage to Janus was who? Let's get this real quick. All right, check this out. It says, the Roman calendar, a complicated calendar, because it wasn't a lunar calendar. It was based off of, they based their calendar off the sun and off of, they had a harvest calendar that they took from the Hebrew calendar, and they had a harvest calendar that they used in the Roman Empire, and that was kind of based off the sun and the moon, but truly we're supposed to base our calendar off of the moon, all right? Now, it says here, the Roman calendar, a complicated calendar, had 12 months like our current calendar, but only 10 of the months had formal names. Basically, winter was a dead period of time. That's right, because winter represents, when things die, like, the plants. But in the springtime, that's the beginning of the year. All right, and I'm going to get into that. It says here, it was a dead period of time when the government and military wasn't active. So they only had names for the time period we think of as March through December. Martius was named for Mars, the idol of war, because this was the month when active military campaigns resumed, and that's what they're looking for now. You got Russia talking about going to war over there in Ukraine, but they're not going to make a move until late January when the snow starts to harden up. All right, where they can move their military equipment. And they're having talks all up until March. All right, until the springtime. It says Maius, that's another idol they worship. June goes back to Junius, were also names for goddesses, Maya and Juno. Wow. April goes back to Aprilis, is thought to stem from Latin aperio, meaning to open, a reference to the opening buds of springtime. The rest of the months were simply numbered. Their original names in Latin meant the 5th quintilis, 6th sextilis, 7 September, 8 October, 9 November, and the 10th December month, right? Even right now they got December as the 12th month, but the word December means 10. You know, and they got November as the 11th month, but November means 9. All right. So, right, man. You know, so it says eventually Januarius, goes back to Janus, and Februarius were added to the end of the year, giving all 12 months proper names. January was named after Janus, the Roman idol of beginnings and transitions. See, it goes back to that, man. These idols that they worship. While February's name is believed to stem from Februa, an ancient festival dedicated to ritual springtime cleaning and washing. The Julian calendar updates. When Julius Caesar became Pontifex Maximus, he reformed the Roman calendar so that the 12 months were based on Earth's revolutions around the sun, which actually the sun goes around the Earth. It was a solar calendar, see, as we have today. There you go. I knew it. See, today's calendar is a solar calendar. They operate off the sun. That's why they have Sunday, and everything goes from day to night. All right. So they operate off the sun, which is wrong. The Lord told us to operate off the moon. So January, now it says here, it was a solar calendar as we have today. January and February were moved to the front of the year. So if you got people like IUIC and them going off of Monday to Friday, Sabbath and all that, they're going off the Sunday solar calendar. And leap years were introduced to keep the calendar year lined up with the solar year. Wow, man. So they messed the calendar all up. So it says here, they added in, it was Julius Caesar. That's what I wanted to tell you. It was Julius Caesar that added in January and February. December, I mean. All right, to pay homage to his idol that he worshipped. The winter months, January and February, remained a time of reflection, peace, new beginnings. See, when they say peace, right? And you know what the scriptures say when they start to say peace, peace. And also, new beginnings and purification. After Caesar's death, the month Quintilis was renamed July in honor of Julius Caesar. Wow. In 44 BC and later, all right, because he died in 45 BC. It says Sextilis was renamed August. Okay, so now we got that understanding where January was established as the first month according to their calendar, which really was supposed to represent winter, or the ending of their winter, or end of their calendar. But it really started by who? Julius Caesar. He the one that added it in, paying homage to Janus, an idol, all right, Greek mythology, paganism. All right, so the Lord told us to be separate from these heathens. All right, the heathenistic customs. It says here, Sirach 43 and 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. So the Lord created the moon, the lunar calendar, as a perfect sign, waxing, waning, crescent moon, full moon, new moon. It's a perfect setup to show us the signs and the seasons that the Lord want to show us upon this earth, what it's going to be to man. All right, he created the sun and the moon the same time he created the earth, but on the fourth day he gave it his command to us, what it was going to be to man that he was about to create. All right. So now it says here we're supposed to go by the lunar calendar. It says from the moon is the sign of feast, man, and that's a feast represents our holy days. So what the hell are they celebrating? Dealing with the sun. All right, or a pagan calendar. A light that decreaseth in her perfection. The month is called after her name. So we go from month to month. New moon. The word month. You can't have a month without having the new moon. All right, and after that you get what? From evening to evening, 7 days, and then you got your Sabbath. You can't have a Sabbath without a new moon. So that's why we keep the Sabbath according to the new moon. But you got a lot of jakes that claim to be teachers. They keep the solar calendar, and they keep the Sabbath on Friday, Freya Day, and Saturn Day, and in the churches in America, Christianity, they keep it on Sunday, which was all set up by Constantine, another pagan. All right, who established the celebration of Nimrod in December. All right, so and that was all set up by Constantine for political gain. So let's get into this real quick. Yeah, man, because the Lord said we're supposed to go by the lunar calendar, not the pagan solar calendar. All right. See, Esau think they're God, but check this out: Daniel 2:21, and he changeth times, changeth the times and the seasons. Hold up, so like this is Daniel 7:24, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise, another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. That's talking about America, with the establishment of America. All right, I think in July, what they call the the battle for independence, right, including France, Spain, and Britain. So now the 10 horns represent the Roman Empire. It says what? And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. From the Roman Empire, America is the revised Roman Empire, and through that they've worn out the saints of the Most High, the children of Israel. All right, and they shall think to change times and laws. See, through the moon is the sign of feast in the times. All right, but they said what? They changed the times and the laws that we were keeping, and they started creating their own laws. All right. So it says now, and that's people like Julius Caesar want to change times, name it after themselves. They paying homage to Julius Caesar with July. Julius Caesar paying homage to his pagan idols, pagan gods with Janus, January. All right, there's another thing they do. What do they say? My New Year's resolution for yo, man, there's no new thing under the sun. You see that, man? Watch this. This is the New Year's resolutions originated over 4,000 years ago. All right, going all the way back to what? The New Year's resolutions originated over 4,000 years ago with the ancient Babylonians. The Babylonians, the Assyrians, believed if they kept their commitment to right, the pagan idols, pagan gods, would show favor to them in the new year. It started in Babylon, man. It's a Babylonian ritual. You know, America is basically Babylon all over again, the daughter of Babylon. If not, they would fall out of favor with their idols. If so, many of us, anyway. So yeah, this shit goes back to Babylon, man. The New Year's resolutions, that's witchcraft as well. You see that? Right, man. So the only way the only us as a nation are going to become new or refreshed is through this truth. Right? Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Check this out, man. Romans 12:1. They want a new resolution. Well, check this out. I beseech you, Romans 12:1. I beseech you, brethren, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. And that's what doing this work. All right, and this work represents what? The altar. All right, so where we present our sacrifice. And our body is what we're supposed to present forth. All right, in the Lord's words. It's holy, acceptable, meaning separated from this world. And be not conformed to this world, man. So this should be their resolution. But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. All right, so that's what we're supposed to be doing, proving the will and the acceptable will of Yahweh. And that's the renewing of the mind, and repenting and turning back. All right, having a contrite heart and turning back to the Lord. This is James 4 and 13. It says, go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gains. You got, man, this New Year's resolution, I'm getting money. I'm coming up this year. See, all this Instagram and social media got people thinking about this money, and they don't even know it's a crash around the corner. And they like, peace, peace, right? Just like the Lord say. He's really talking about when these nations start to say it, but you got the citizens too, man. They're saying peace. I saw peace and love this year, man. That's my resolution. So what? They're making plans, but nobody knows what tomorrow holds, man. All right. We only know about what the Lord told us, and just like who was that? Ezra, I think it was, where the angel told Ezra, I can't tell you how you're going to die. That's not what I was sent here to do. I was just sent here to tell you about the prophecies, and about how the children of Israel are going to be raised up, fall, and then be raised up again. So we don't know what tomorrow holds. We only know what the Lord's will is for our nation and for this world. All right, for his kingdom. So it says here, verse 14, and just like the ants pile up sand and then another come and knock it over, the same way we build up things upon this earth and accumulate things, and then we just leave it. Spirit off the earth. It's like it's just vanity. James 4:14. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. See, we don't know. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away. Yeah, man, this year right here, well, shit, they saying that while they going out with the mandate. And for, all right, for that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, because the Most High say, to the Most High belongeth the issues of death. He killeth and he maketh alive. So we say, if Yahweh willing, Yahweh Ratazah, all right, he'll get us through another day, or leave us here to do the Lord's will. But even Paul said it, to die is gain. To be here is to be separate from the Lord. So I want to be here. You want to be separate from the Lord? Well, at least here, if you're in the truth, you're not separate from the Lord spiritually. So people like Paul was saying that to be here is better for the flock, for us to be able to edify each other. But to die is to be with the Lord. For what is your life? It is even a vapor and appear for a little time and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will. And none of them saying that. They're not saying Yahweh Ratzazah, Yahweh willing. I'll do this or I'll do that. It says, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now ye rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. All right, so they're rejoicing. They're into the house of mirth. They're in that rejoicing spirit, rejoicing in evil, rejoicing in their resolutions, their New Year's resolution. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. What you gonna do this year? Well, I'm gonna do this. This right here in James chapter 4. All right, so we're not gonna follow a multitude to do evil. They're rejoicing in evil, rejoicing in their paganism. All right. And you got a lot of damn dope dealers and sharks that have killed each other for money this year and for gain. And they've done so much wickedness. And they're going to do the same thing next year. All right. And I want to get into that too, because it's not even the beginning of the year. It's the beginning of the fiscal year. In the beginning of the winter solstice. That's what they're worshiping. That's their festival is the winter solstice. So now it says this, Sirach, Ecclesiastes 7:2. It is better to go into the house of mourning, right? We're supposed to be mourning right now, waiting for the Yahushua, mourning for our people. And when they're celebrating, we don't celebrate. And when we celebrate, they're not celebrating with us. When we keep the holy days and the solemn feasts, they're not keeping them. Your family, your friends don't care. Your people at your job, you keeping the Passover, Day of Atonement and such. It is better to go into the house of mourning than to go into the house of feasting, right? Because after mourning, I get that. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, all right? For by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. You see that, man? So we're in mourning knowing that Esau is ruling. When the wicked are in power, the people mourn. All right? So we're supposed to be in mourning right now. Not rejoicing because they ruling. We're waiting for a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, which makes us the children of the day, children of the kingdom, children of light. All right? The heart of fools is in the house of mourning. So like the house of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth, man. All that partying and bullshitting and rejoicing in their boastings and their evil. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools, man. If you cut on the radio, TV tonight, all you would have heard was all these celebrities making all their money. Nothing wrong with making money, but I'm just saying, like, you'll think it's some something spiritual happening, because you'll see all the artists come out. But they really just getting money. This is the time of year to make their money. People like Mariah Carey, she's definitely making money on December 25th. You hear her song everywhere. All I want for, you know the words, right? Then you have people like these rappers like Big Boy and them, people from Atlanta. All of a sudden they got albums coming out and they performing. And Ja Rule. See that? It's money time. That's the house of mirth. Families. This is time for families to get together. Jobs let you off work. Yeah, all kind of stuff, man. So this country pays homage to evil, all right, to that which is bad. But it's better to enter into the house of mourning than to the house of mirth, following them after their rejoicing and their boastings and their evil acts. All right, and the main culprit of this is America today, pushing the agenda of the Roman Empire. Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. That's talking about America being established with NATO. It says, full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. We're talking about from what? The EU. All right. The EU is what they use to establish NATO, basically. The European Union, which goes back to the Treaty of Rome, which basically is the Roman Empire all over again. All right, the EU. And the woman was arrayed in purple and in scarlet color. It goes back to red. And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication, man. All right, through that cup, she's gotten our people drunken out there in enchantments and philosophies, man. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. All right, so this is it. This is the Roman Empire all over again, pushing that paganism that goes back to the ancient Babylon. All right, so yeah, man. All right, because right here it says what? And the Lord told us this twice. He told us when we first came out of Egypt, and then he told us again. He told us on Mount Sinai, and then he told us again before we went to the land of Egypt during the time of Deuteronomy, which basically means like the second giving of the law. Deuteronomy 4:19. Unless thou, so you told us don't make any images of anything in heaven or, and be driven to worship them. Unless thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars. See, they worship in the sun and the moon and the stars. That's what they worship in the day. All right. Even with the solar calendar, it goes back to a deity, a pagan idol named Solar. It says, and seest the moon, the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven, and shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which Yahweh thy power have divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. All right, so so the Lord divided the sun and moon and the stars for all people, really for Israel. So he made it the world for our sakes. All right, but humanity, even the animals, deal with the sun, moon, and the stars, but we're not supposed to worship them. Just like you're not supposed to worship a watch on your wrist to tell time. The sun and the moon and the stars is used to tell time. All right, those are timepieces. All right, and to give light upon the earth and to help things grow and photosynthesis. You wouldn't have photosynthesis without the sun, being created same time of the earth. So now it says, but the Lord have taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, out of Egypt. All right, it means where we was afflicted. Just like today, we're going to be brought out of this iron furnace. Even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance as ye are this day, right? When he brought us out of Egypt, he told us that this was going to be the beginning of months to us. Talking about in the spring, not in the winter. In the winter, we're supposed to celebrate what? This is John 10:22. And it was winter. And it was Jerusalem. It was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter. All right. So they kept the feast of dedication. Yahushua even kept the feast of dedication in the winter. In the winter, he wasn't keeping no damn January and New Year's and all this madness and resolutions and Christmas and all this madness, man. Paganism. Going back to the Yule, which goes back to Babylon too. So the Lord said what? The scriptures say, and it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication, what we call Hanukkah, and it was in winter. So that's what we're supposed to be dealing with around the winter. All right, because in the month of Bib, which in the Hebrew would be Abiyabah or Abiyab, which means to spring up. That's when you see the damn animals start to populate. You know, you'll see a bunch of damn ducks and shit, and little newborn ducks and babies. And you see a lot of grass and herbs springing up as well. Everything turning green, all right, being refreshed, renewed. Deuteronomy 16:1. Observe the month of Abiyabah or Abib, all right, Abiyab, and keep the Passover unto Yahweh thy power. So that's when we came out of Egypt, the night of the Passover. All right, the Passover feast of unleavened bread, same night. So when we came out of Egypt, that's the first month. Okay, for in the month of Abib, the Lord thy power brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. See that real clear, man. So he brought us out in that month. The word Abib goes back to spring. All right. And that's usually around what? March or April. That's the beginning of our year. It says, thou shalt sacrifice therefore the Passover unto Yahweh thy power of the flock and the herd in the place. All right, so now, all right, it's the word Abib. Let's click on it real quick. It'll be the Hebrew, and it'll be Abayab, right, or Abiyabah. It says green, a young ear of grain, fresh. That's when everything refreshed in the springtime. Young barley ears, barley, month of ear forming, of greening of crops, of growing green, Abib, month of Exodus and Passover. And it was around what? It says right here, March or April, as you see right there, man. So that's what for us. All right, you go to Exodus 12:1. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt. So that's when he brought us out of Egypt. All right, when we was keeping the Passover. That's what this chapter is about. It tells you how to keep the Passover. And you see, he said what? That was when we kept the Passover. That was around March or April. But it says what? This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. The beginning of moons, man. That's what you heard the guy that say many moons ago. Right? Because he said what? This was going to be the beginning for us. The Lord put us right on cue with the proper calendar when we came out of Egypt, instead of keeping the Egyptian calendar. All right? And it says, this shall be the beginning of months, and it shall be the first month of the year to you. So that's our beginning of year, around March or April. All right, with the springtime. So it says it shall be the first month of the year to you. All right. So what the hell are they keeping in the winter? Going back to paganism. All right. Exodus 20:3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. You know, so they're worshiping Janus. Our people are doing idolatry and don't even know it, man. Being as sheep led to the slaughter. And there's judgments to come behind that. That's why all hell gonna break loose on these people. You know, so the Lord ain't playing. All right, so I'm gonna read this real quick. It's gonna focus on America, but they be celebrating that shit all around the world. that paganism. Isaiah 47:7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. It's talking about America today, Babylon. So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given unto pleasures. That's that house of mirth. That dwelleth carelessly, that saith in their heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. All right. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, man. The loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of their sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. That's the witchcrafts and their enchantments, man. You see that? So for all the abundance of all the witchcraft and the paganism and idolatry that they're doing here, the Lord's going to bring judgments behind that, man, to destroy these people. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, see, boasting in their evil, in their resolutions and shit. 2/3 have what? Followed after the ways of the wicked. Yet they have their father the devil, the lust of their father they shall do. To whom you yield your members, ye are subject to the same. And our people are in bondage to sin right now. Mentally. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Boasting in evil, that's exactly what they're going to get, evil. Thou shalt not know from whence it ariseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee in their new year, right? The year of mischief. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail, right? But the elect, the hopeful elect, are not going to stand with these heathens and their paganism, going into the house of mirth. No, we're going to go into the house of mourning and separate from these damn wicked people. That's what the Lord said, come out of her, what's that scripture say, man? Flee Babylon. All right. That's talking about mentally, spiritually. 2 Peter 1:16. For we have not followed cunningly devised fables, man. These are cunningly devised fables set up by the Roman Empire and those Edomites. The mystery of iniquity that was already working. They were setting everything in place and setting up their racism, their system of racism, paganism to fight against our righteous beliefs. They were setting that in place with the Roman Empire. Reestablishing the Babylonian idols. 2 Peter 1:16, for we have not followed cunningly devised fables, when we made known unto you the power and coming of our Lord Yahushua, but were eyewitnesses of his majesty, man. All right, so we're not following these cunningly devised fables. And that's just it, man. We're children of the light, not children of the dark. All right, supposed to be separate from these people, man. It says, verse 19, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed. So you're doing well if you take heed to the words of these prophecies. As unto a light that shineth in a dark place. And this is a dark place right now. But we represent that light that's shining here. Until the day dawn and the day star arise in your heart. Right? Because that's why the scriptures say they are of their father the devil. So we have not followed those fables, those cunningly devised fables moving in the spirit of that serpent. 1 Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. See, we follow the thing according to the spirit and prophecy and the spirit of truth. That the month tells them the beginning of the month, the moon. And the first moon for us is around springtime, not winter. And within that, it wouldn't be called January. January doesn't mean first. I was a child, I thought the word January meant number one. I just didn't know. I thought it meant first because it was the first damn month. But it's not. Just like December doesn't mean 12. It's decimal. It goes back to 10. And Nov, which means 9, November. But they got November as the 11th month. So it's all confusion, man. It's all confusion. It cunningly devised fables. 1 Thessalonians 5:2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Now we know we're in the night, but the light is shining on the brothers and sisters out there that are of the truth. And the day stars are rising in our heart. All right. But we are definitely in the night, and it's dark, getting darker. For when they shall say peace and safety, what are they saying now? Yeah, peace, it's all about peace this year. Yeah, okay. It says, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And damn, that's another cut on Babylon, because Scripture said, I just read it, that these two things shall come upon thee in 1 hour, 1 day. Death and mourning and loss of children, I mean. All right, so what does America do? They create idolaters through their Christianity and their demonocracy. They create slaves. All right, they create death. So it's going to be like travail upon a woman, and that woman today is going to be Babylon and 2/3 of our people, And they shall not escape. Who? The wicked. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, man, that the day should overtake you as a thief, man. So these people will get caught out there. They have no idea what's coming. They have no idea to run into the name and the tower of Yahweh, that and his protection through Yahweh Shai. They have no idea about that, about the opportunity that's being presented to them. So they're dead, they sleep to it. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Circumspect. For they, and also people who are out drinking in the streets tonight, partying and bullshitting, adulteries like in the Roman Empire. You see them photos of the Roman Empire, they all butt naked, doing orgies. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day of the kingdom be sober, be circumspect, man, and not drunken off the philosophies of this place, man. All right? The scriptures say they are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. And that's that cup that was in the hand of Babylon, pushing these holidays out. And they made money off of these holidays. Every time this shit come around, these corporations know they're going to make some money. And the corporations invest in America, which keeps America going. All right, but now those investors are pulling away have pulled away from Babylon. So this place is destined, has a short and quick end that's coming, man. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, man. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So having faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, who we can't see at this moment, and hope in the kingdom and in deliverance that the Lord's going to deliver us. So by having these things, we keep the commandments to the best of our abilities. We separate ourselves and we keep his holy days, and we serve him as our God only. The Lord said, what? You should have no other gods before me. And they calling the January Janus and all these pagan months that they titled in days, whom they pay homage to in their holidays. Man, it's paying, you know what I mean? It goes without saying. It's basically idol worship, planet worship. But let us who are of the day of the kingdom be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. For Yahweh have not appointed us to wrath. See, the ones that are going to the house of mirth at this time, they're being appointed unto wrath, unto the judgment day. But to obtain salvation of the Lord, of our Lord Yahweh Shai. All right, so that's the separation. If you're not following these holidays and cunningly devised fables, and you're in the truth, you got to be in the truth, then you're appointed to obtain salvation. All right, when we'll truly rejoice in our renewed state of mind and renewed flesh, renewed nation of Israel, and to begin to refresh the earth will be our resolution. To destroy the wicked will be our resolution. All right? Not these Babylonian / Roman, Edomite, demonic, pagan customs that they keep in today. So with that, I'm going to say, Shalom.